Hello, and firstly, thank you very much for taking time to watch this presentation. Thank you for signing up and showing interest. And so, in the next half an hour, 40 minutes or so, I'm just going to outline the course as fully as I can in a presentation, so you'll see more or less exactly what you're going to get throughout the course of the year. And also, I'm going to outline some free bonuses, some discounts, and give you some free giveaways as well. Whether you decide to sign up or not, they're yours to keep. So let's take a look through the course, as I've said, in the next half an hour or so. So is this course for you? Well, I would say it probably is. You've already signed up, you've already shown an interest. I guess you follow me on Instagram, so you see my work. Hopefully you like what I do. So this is the ideal opportunity for you if you've ever thought about creating your own business, a craft-based one, which this is obviously. Be your own boss, work your own hours. It's a beautiful way to earn a living. It feels most days like you're not working, and if you've managed to achieve that, then you're winning in life. I think you'd agree. So you'll be learning from me, someone who's been in the business for over 30 years. 1987 I started, so that's 33 years. So I've done most things. I've made most of the mistakes. There's not many aspects of sign writing, sign painting that I can think that I haven't done at some point. So yeah, all this will be imparted to you over the course of the full year. So I'll be teaching you in the correct manner how to paint these letters. So that'll be the way that I sort of learn while doing a City and Guilds course, and then throughout the course of my career, I'm still learning now, always learning new tricks. And as and when I do, I will pass them on to you, and I'll pass on the ones that I've learned in the past as well. So you're already in the business, you're possibly a graphic designer in some sort of design business, maybe you're a tattoo artist, maybe you're doing chalkboards, maybe you're doing wedding stuff, I don't know, maybe you're a calligrapher and want to broaden your horizons, add more strings to your bow, then this is for you as well, for sure. These are all aspects that can be brought into your everyday job to make your workflow better and have the hand skills that lots of the people in your field will not have. As you go along throughout the course of the year, in all the videos I'm giving you little tips. I'm also going to impart to you how to get work, how to build up a portfolio. You need a portfolio, and that's part of this course, is to build up one. If you haven't got something to show somebody, you're going to struggle to sell your work. After all, we're in a visual field, so that's pretty important. And I'll also be sharing with you some little business tips here and there, just a little bit of free advertising that you can always do, and little ways to get business and keep it going. Yeah. So, you're already interested. Obviously, you've signed up. This course is definitely for you. There's going to be nothing else anywhere near as thorough and comprehensive as this. So what's led me to do this course? So at the moment, I'm sure you're aware, you can attend workshops for 1, 2 days, sometimes 4 days. Some are great, some are terrible. Now, a workshop's fine. I'm not suggesting you shouldn't attend them, but when you go on these, you kind of get overloaded with information. There's only so much you can take in, and there's only so much you can learn in a day. You can learn a reasonable amount, but a lot of it sort of just washes over you. You become overwhelmed. You might be in a class environment and a little bit too shy to ask when something isn't clear and you want to go over it again, so you're missing things. And there's only so much you can really hope to gain in a day or 2 days workshop. or a couple of months for that matter. It takes more than a couple of months to learn to do this properly. So, if you had the option, you would probably be, if you're of that age, be trying to go to college, which I was lucky enough to do, as I've said, for a couple of years. But unfortunately, that's not an available option anymore. They stopped in the mid-90s. So this is kind of why I decided to do this course and do it in the fashion which I've done it, which is a year-long thing, because it's not a quick fire. You pick up your brushes one day, painting signs the next. You need to put in some practice. You can't expect to do this after a day or two. It's a slow burning thing where you need to build up your skill set, and then once we've done that in the beginning, which I'll speak about shortly, we'll then move on to all the little tips and tricks which I can teach you. And also, the reason for doing this in the way it is that you can do it in the comfort of your own home. So I'm keeping the cost down to a minimum, and you can also learn at your own pace, which is invaluable. I know we're all busy these days, always busy it seems. So that's the main two reasons for me starting to do this course. Three reasons actually. I decided after mulling this over for quite some time that I would make it a year-long subscription. As I've outlined before, you can't learn this in a day, 2 days, even 2 months. So you've got to put in the practice, as I've said. You've got to build up your skill set before you can go out there and realistically charge people decent money for painting their signs. At the end of the day, you're the person painting the front of their shop. That's what most people see first if they're a high street based business, which is the kind of people that we're looking to service. So initially, what I'm going to do is what I am doing is there'll be 8 weeks of sort of basic training. So we're going to go from the very beginning, from the right equipment, the right tools, how to look after them, the basic brush strokes you need to learn, and then going through the 4 main letter types, and then some little bits of shading and things like that. Because we need to build up the skill, as I've said. So that's the way I've decided to do it. Is run 8 weeks initially to get you all up to speed. Some of you may already have done some of this already. I'd have done a few workshops, but this certainly won't harm. And there's some nice little projects along the way that you can build up your portfolio with. And then after that, for the following 10 months, it's just going to be it's going to be me showing you all the everything I've learned over my full career. So there's absolutely massive amounts of information that I'm going to be showing you, all in real-time video, and everything I know you will know by the end of the year. And in the meantime, I want you to keep practicing your basic skills that you've learned in the first 8 weeks. So obviously, because you've got this to look at as much and as often as you want, you can go back over and over things, and that's where this is so different from any workshop or anything like that. You can build up your skill at your own pace in areas where you find you're struggling. You can go back and practice that. There are download sheets. You've got me as a mentor to help you along the way as well. So that's why it's a year-long subscription. I just want to take a few minutes to show you a few examples of work which I've done, and also so you can see that I have attended college. So this is the City and Guilds certificates which I gained. So I started college in '89, did a 2-year course, and finished in '91 and passed with distinctions. Over my career, I've painted many things, most things you can think of. The The company motto is, if it'll stay still, I'll paint it. Which, yeah, there's not much I haven't painted, big and small. You can see down there there's a huge steam locomotive, so there's quite a big piece of wall out there. There's also some gilding there, which is showing you advanced techniques, which I will show you throughout the course. Well, after the 8 weeks anyway. Directional burnishing, that'll all be covered. Yeah, so let's take a look at a few more bits and pieces. So this is all fairly recent work. There's some steam lorries there, steam locos, a nice old Harley at the top there in the right. Some advanced shading techniques there, quite a lot of gold. All these things I'll be showing you. Some rough sort of painting on rough surface, which sort of looks old, in the next to the Amy Winehouse thing in the bottom right hand corner. I'll be showing you how to achieve that, all that sort of thing. Lining, coach lining, the whole gamut. So yeah, it's just a small example of some work which I've done. Here's a nice little testimonial I've got from Ash Bishop of the Brilliant Sign Company, who I'm sure you're aware of if you're into sign writing. If you like it, you'll probably follow Ash on Instagram, Facebook. So Ash is very keen on glasswork, quite ornate, so often Victorian style glasswork, and does some beautiful stuff. He's got a fantastic workshop with all the gearing to do it. I'm not quite so set up for that sort of thing, and it's not what my client base ask for. So although I can do all these things, and will show you throughout the latter parts of the course, because I know some of you will want to learn how to do, well, hopefully you'll all want to learn how to do glass, so that's a nice thing to learn. So there's a nice testimonial, as I've said, from Ash there. I won't read it out, but do feel free to pause and just read through that, because it's quite a nice glowing report actually. And leading on from that, here's another nice little testimonial from a young lad called Ross Hasty. So Ross is 20 now, but when he was 17, he came down to me for a couple of weeks and just worked alongside me. Ross is a fantastic sign writer. He's the future of sign writing at the moment, I think. He's so thirsty to learn everything. His skill is amazing, and he's really committed. If you're young and want to get into this game, Ross is the perfect example. He's really doing fantastically. He's getting some really nice jobs in and doing beautiful work, as you can see there from the left in the pictures. So yeah, I'll just read a little bit of this for you. So Paul is a true professional. The quality of work and the depth of knowledge he has in the trade is second to none. He's an ideal mentor and teacher who will take you along the first steps towards your career in sign writing. And that is exactly what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get you from the beginning, or if you've already had a little bit of experience and taking you on through to flying and doing stuff like Ross is doing here. There's no reason why you can't. Everything I'm going to teach you is usable in the sign trade, and the more strings to your bow, the better the quality of work you can turn out. I also have here some testimonials from students. So these people have been testing out the course for me the past month or so, just going through it as you will be doing. So I've left them alone to look through the website, and yeah, they're getting on with it nicely. And as you can see, there's 3 here. I won't read them all again. If you want to pause and read through them, then it's worth taking some time, because it just validates the course and the website quite nicely. I particularly like the one by Emma Russell, who's only 12 at the bottom there. So Emma's a friend, a daughter of a friend of mine who's very keen on art and is good at art actually, but she really wanted to. She's seen me working from time to time, and she sees my stuff on Instagram, I think, and she wanted to learn to paint letters. So she's been having a go at this for me, and as you can see, she likes how it goes. So she says, "I love his videos. He explains things very easily, and I'm able to follow his advice without getting confused." At the beginning, I didn't understand why we were only doing little lines and curves, and then they all became letters. Great fun, and I love the music. I look forward to finding my own style. I'm not sure you'll all love the music, but there is some without commentary, and just a soundtrack along there, so it's not too boring. Yeah, so that sort of shows that it's open and available to all ages. So, what's in store? I'm sure you're asking yourselves. Well, I've decided to split this up into sort of two main parts, this course, over the course of the year. So the first 8 weeks will be taken up starting from the beginning. I want us all to sort of get to the same sort of jump off point for the second part of the course, which is which is where I sort of impart to you all the tips and tricks which I've learned before. But in order to do that, you need a basic sort of skill level. So we're going to go from looking after your brushes, the right equipment, using a maul stick, mixing paint, all the basic stuff, and then going on to basic brush strokes, all the little basic brush strokes you need to be able to utilize, and then we'll start to learn the 4 main typefaces. So we'll start with casual, block, script, and then Roman, and then we'll do some other little skills like shading and things like that. But by doing this, we're all getting off to the same level. Some of you may already have done something before, but this certainly won't harm. We take it as a refresher course. It's not just a refresher course. You will learn from it for sure. And then once we've gone through this, we're all, like I say, at similar levels. You can do it at your own pace, obviously. I know we're all busy, but then we're at a jump off point and ready to go for the real meat of the course, where we start to learn all the hundreds of amazing tips, tricks, and methods which make this such a stunning and interesting and beautiful career. Let me now just give you a quick run through of how the first 8 weeks are going to run, and the sequence of them, and just give you a brief outline of what to expect. So as we said, it's an 8 weekly modules. The first week we're going to go over the basic tools and what you're going to need to go through the course, how to look after your tools, some basic brush strokes, and there'll be some basic paint mixing, how to use a maul stick, a palette, all that sort of thing. Just the basics you need to know to sort of start. Then week 2, we're going to go into some more basic brush strokes to form, that we'll use later on to form all the other letters. We'll also go through a bit more paint mixing and all that sort of thing. So yeah, we're just sort of starting slowly, building up the skills slowly, and then we'll get on to week 3, where we're going to start to get into it properly. So this is casual lettering, so we're going to start to, I'll do lots of demonstrations on how to paint those. There'll be downloads available, there'll be 4, 5, 6 different videos to watch. There's a project for you to do. So there's lots involved in this. Obviously, you can learn it at your own pace. Everybody learns at different paces, and that's the beauty of this, that you can learn it at your own pace, in your own time scale, juggling around everything else that we've got to deal with at the moment. Week 4 we'll move on to block lettering, so the same sort of thing as the week before except block, so lots of videos showing you how to paint it, really nice little projects there for you to follow. More sort of brush practice, just building up your skills again. Week 5, script lettering, so that's the cursive sort of hand lettering style. So we'll start to look at that, how to form that from formal to really loose, bouncy stuff, which I really like doing. So we'll sort of work towards the trying to work out your own form of this script lettering style. Week 6, Roman lettering. So this is the letters, the typeface that all of the lettering is based from. Classical Roman in its classical form is a very difficult typeface to paint. We will touch on it because we need to. It's something that you will use throughout your career if you're going to be a proper sign writer. But for the basis of this, we'll try and keep it quite loose and bouncy. There's no point making it a chore and stressing out over it. So we're going to keep it, as I've said, loose but based on the Roman style. Week 7 we'll go through some basic shading, so I'll be doing that on all the ones we've learnt before, so the casual, block, script and Roman. So we'll go through the basic shading techniques and how to do that without drawing it on. You can draw it on if you want to, but it's obviously much quicker if you don't. And then week 8 we're going to go on to developing your skills a bit further. I'm going to show you how to get some work. I'll also show you how to prepare a sign fascia or some boards, because that's important. If you spend days painting beautiful letters on a fascia and you haven't prepared it properly and it all falls off, peels off in a year, then you're not going to get too much more work. So it's quite an important thing for a sign painter to be able to do. And some basic business skills and tips that are there as well. So if you paid for these separately, there'd be a day's course each, more or less, to get you through and up to speed with these. So you would be paying £147 a day, which comes to a total of £1,176 if you were to attend them all, as I've said, in one-day workshops. Right, so for taking the time to listen to this presentation, I'm going to give you 3 free gifts, and they will be coming out to you in another email, because they'll just make this presentation too long and the file's too big and all that sort of thing. So the first one will be a real-time video showing you the #1 brush skill, which is learning to twist the brush in your fingers whilst still applying the correct amount of pressure, keeping the brush moving and twisting it so you form a corner. And also it's an invaluable skill that you have to have to be able to form curves. So it's a demonstration video on that. The second one will be on how to make a paper pattern. Again, this is a time-served technique which has been used for hundreds of years, and it's the way to produce a full-size pattern for anything you're going to paint a sign on. So a fascia, a car, whatever. You need to produce it first, full-size on paper. So this is showing you the technique, like I say, which is tried and tested, time-served, and works a treat. And the third one will be a downloadable practice sheet, which will come out to you as a PDF. So that is a A4 piece of paper which I've painted an alphabet on, not a full one, but most of the alphabet in a casual style, and you've got directional arrows on there, so you can download that, as I've said, print it off, get your paint out and your brush, and practice painting over it to form the letter forms. It just makes life a little bit easier for you. And as I said, these are free gifts, and I will be giving them to you whether or not you sign up or not, in email to follow. Right, back to how the course is going to actually run. So after the first 8 weeks, where we're building up our skills, learning our equipment, I'm then going to go on to show you each week something new, like I've said. So there'll be masses of different things I can show you, which I've learned over the years, over 30 years, little tips, tricks, methods, and this is the real meat of the course. As I've said, this is the thing that's going to turn you into a nice, rounded sign writer. Here's just a few of the things which we're going to cover in the rest of the course after the basic um, 8 weeks. So we'll cover some gilding, so that's gold leaf work, just how to do it basically, but then we'll also cover advanced techniques like directional burnishing, which really makes it look 3D. I'll cover some advanced shading, so mop block, all the different various techniques of shading. We'll go on to some glass work. So I'll show you how to do that. It's all done in reverse, which sounds all a bit weird, but it's not that bad. But there are some techniques which you need to incorporate. Prismatic lettering, so sort of 3D convex or prismatic shaped lettering. Pinstriping, it's not something I'm brilliant at, but I will get somebody to do tutorials on that. So if you're interested in that, you'll be able to follow those. Airbrushing, I'll show you some ways in which we can use an airbrush to get some nice blends and all that sort of thing in lettering. Coach lining, so that's where you paint straight lines and curved lines on something like a car or a steam engine, so I'll show you how to get to grips with that. Pictorials, I'll show you how to do really large scale pictorials quickly and easily. Blending, we'll cover all the different, there's quite a few methods of blending, believe it or not, so I'll show you those throughout the course. And yeah, working on a big scale. Like it says at the bottom, there's too much for me to list here, but basically if you can paint it, I'll show you how to do it. Let's have a little recap then. So here's what you get. As you know, you get the 8 weeks basic training. Remember, you have to learn the basics to move forward. You can't just expect to jump straight to week 6 or 7 and be able to paint Roman. You've got to put in the hours beforehand, get used to your materials and your brushes, to be able to do that. As I've said, you've got online support throughout the process. And then after that, we'll move forward to teaching you everything I know that I've gained over the last 30 years, which is a lot. You can't get this anywhere else. There's nothing anywhere near as comprehensive as this course. There will be other ones starting up, I'm sure, especially with how things are at the moment. But this is the one. If you want to be the most rounded sign writer that you can be, sign painter that you can be, this is the one for you. Right, so now we're getting down to the nitty gritty of it. Yeah, I've managed to get you some really nice little bonuses here, some from myself and some from partners, suppliers. So without further ado, let's move forward and I'll show you what these are. Bonus 1 is tips and tricks. So you'll get these tips and tricks all the way through the course. From the very beginning, you'll be learning everything I know, as I've said. These are things that you'll never learn out of a book. These are things which I've learned through mistakes, through happy accidents, through advice, all number of ways. But these are just things that you won't find in books. They're shown to you, as is everything else, in real time videos. So I will explain what's happening as it's happening. I've got to say, if I'm making a mistake while I'm painting these demonstrations, I'm not editing them out. I'm keeping them in there because I think it's important for you to see that, you know, we all make mistakes. I'm only human, and I'm a terrible speller, as you'll see. Um, and just how, you know, how you deal with these little mistakes as well. So that these, you never see that in a book, do you? Um, and these will take you on, and it just adds so much value to the course. You know, it fast tracks you. I've made the mistakes, so hopefully you can avoid them. I'm sure you'll make some as well. But there you go. I'm helping you as much as I can. So that would be valued at 197. Okay, so bonus two. This is a really nice one. This one. So I've got you 20% off materials with my main supplier, which is AS Handover, based in London. I've worked with them since the very beginning, so over 30 years, and they've very kindly, as it says there, offered you 20% off your first order. You'll receive a code once you sign up, which you can buy as much as you like. Not only that, they have sorted out some kit boxes for me, which is shown in the first week of the course. So there's a deluxe one and a more basic one. Both contain more or less the same stuff, but one's in a nice box, which I would like you to try and get hold of, because that would form a nice project further on in the course. And as it says, these are priced at over 50% off. Valued at 197, but you could easily double the value of that. It depends on how much you order, how serious you are about this. You could really kick yourself out nicely at the beginning and save yourself 20% off all the extra stuff that you order over and above the starter kit, if you so choose to order that as well. I'm afraid if you're in America, Canada, the rest of the world, Andover will send you anything out for sure, apart from paint. That can't be sent through the post. It's just one of those legal things. I'm sure they will send you whatever else you want, brushes, any other materials other than paint. But if you are in the rest of the world, I've also negotiated you 25% off with Alpha 6 Corporation. Now, Alpha 6 have recently brought out a range of enamels, which I haven't actually used yet, but I've only heard good things about. They do a good selection of brushes, and they do some nice starter kits and various materials, various bits and pieces. So there's a nice little 25% off there for you as well. And again, that will be shown in the videos when you sign up, when you pay to join the membership site. As with the I'm not sure, but I don't see why Alpha 6 wouldn't offer you 25% off if you ordered from the UK. Just be aware that you would then be liable for import tax. Okay, so bonus 3 is the online support. So you get full online support for a full year. So you can send me, as I've said, you can send me your pictures of where you're going wrong. I want to see what you're doing anyway. It's important for me to see your progress as much as it is for you, really. I want to see how well you're doing, and also where you're struggling, and I also want to be able to help you move forward. So this online support is there exactly for that reason. And again, that is valued at 197. You may be asking yourself, is there another way I can do this? Quite honestly, I think the answer is no. I mean, as I've said, there are workshops out there. Some are good, some are bad. As I've said, you can buy yourself all the books in the world. You can go to the library and borrow the books, but you just don't learn the same out of books. I know this from experience. I'm sure some of you have tried it before as well. It's really difficult to learn a practical skill just by static things in a book. You can learn some things, obviously, but I find the best way to learn, and I'm sure you agree, the best way to learn is to watch somebody doing it. You watching me, and I am explaining, and I'm skilled, and I know what I'm talking about in this field. There's no other way to do that. I'm going to be your mentor, and I'm going to guide you through the process. You've got the online support, you've got your forum to work together to help each other through, and you're going to be learning this in a structured way, which if you picked up books, you'd probably be bobbing around all over the place, learning little bits here, racing off, trying to learn the cool bits before you've been able to learn the good bits, the necessary bits. You'd struggle really, and also you wouldn't have me setting your projects. I wouldn't be chasing you. Not that I'm really going to be chasing you, to be quite honest. Not too much anyway, because this is something you can learn at your own pace, in your own time. We're all busy. We're all homeschooling at the moment if you've got kids, which is it's not as bad as it could be, but it's just another thing to do, isn't it? So the answer is no, there isn't another way to do this. What I'm going to show you now is some examples of comparisons. So this should really make this a no-brainer. The price I'm going to ask you to pay for this at the end just makes it, like I say, a no-brainer. So let's say you sign up for a weekend's course in London. That's going to cost you £360, more or less, something like that. Then factor in the travel. If you don't live too far away, that's £50. Accommodation for 1-2 nights, £300. A minimum. You don't get much for less than £150 in London. Food and drink. Easy spend £100 on food and drinks. A lot more if you enjoy yourself and have a good drink. So by then you've pretty much spent £810. You'll have a good time. You'll learn a decent amount, but you won't learn anywhere near as much as you would learn in a full year of me teaching you. And you do only retain so much from a workshop experience. As I've said before, you get overloaded with information, and you sort of go on a bit of shutdown, don't you? And you may even have a hangover on the second day because you've enjoyed too much of the drink the night before, as we sometimes do. So yeah, I mean, there's another course in London I know which is 4 days, and that's just short of £1,000. So you can soon spend an awful lot of money on this. And I'm not saying they're not worth the money. Don't get me wrong; they're very much worth the money. But this is just putting into context how much of a good deal this is for you. So yeah, as I've said, you can do these workshops, and I think you should be trying to do some workshops with other people, with myself at some point. But let's get you to a point where you're going to really benefit from them by getting you through the basics. So the thing to do is sign up with me for a full year. You can go over the all the videos as much as you want to do, and you'll just gain a better knowledge, because you can freeze frame, you can go back, as I've said, you can find me questions. It just seems like an absolute no-brainer. This has got to be where the clever money is, to learn to become a sign writer. Remember, the main thing, practice makes perfect. The only way you can learn a practical skill is by practicing. The clue's in the name. Here we are then, the one you've been waiting for, the actual price of the course. So the figure at the top, the 1767, that would be the total of, if you attended 8 workshops to learn the basics which are taught in the first 8 weeks, and then the other bits and pieces which would be charged and have value. That's the price it would come to. But as you can see, I'm not going to ask for anywhere near that. The price is $297. Now, originally this was going to be for the first 50 students, and then it was going to rise to $497. But what I've decided in the current climate, with what we're all living through, which I'm sure you'll agree are really strange times, I think, well, it's equally a good time and a terrible time to release this. People are looking for things to do in all this spare time they found themselves with, but equally income has also become a problem. It has for me. I haven't earned anything now for a few weeks and won't be for a foreseeable few weeks. But this is so yeah. This is why I wanted to keep it down, and I'm going to keep it down for more than 50 students. It'll be for the duration of this horrible situation which we're going through now. I think that's only fair. So ignore the 497 for now. The price to you is 297, but I think I'm still only going to take 50 students initially, just because I have no idea what the uptake will be, obviously. But if it gets more than that, then I'm going to struggle to deal with everybody's requests which could come through. So yeah, that's the reasoning, and that is the price for the course. Remember, that's for a full year, taking you right from the beginning, showing you everything I know, which is a considerable amount of skill which I'm going to show you. Yeah, that's it. That's the price. What are you waiting for? So I'll show you. There's a couple more slides, and then you're free to go to another website to make payment. I also have this really nice extra bonus for you, mega bonus. So what this is the 26 letters series. So what I've done is painted the alphabet over the last few months, not solidly, sort of in my free time, and each of the letters is filmed in real time, with me giving commentary on all the how I'm painting the letters, and also the just loads and loads and loads of little tips and tricks as I'm going through, little techniques that you wouldn't get out of a book, really, and you certainly wouldn't see time-served craftsmen doing them in front of your very eyes. So these are, there's this gilding, there's all sorts of things, blending, different rag rolling, graining, simple graining techniques. There's so many. There's literally hundreds of tips and techniques on this. Originally, this was going to be a sort of standalone product. It may well be in the future, but for this, the purposes of this course, I've decided to throw it into the mix. So this won't be available until after the first 8 weeks. Like I've said before, I don't want to swamp you, but this really is a superb reference section, so that they'll be sort of fed into the second part of the course throughout the rest of it. also, we also offer you a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you, for some reason, decide that this isn't for you, just let me know, and we'll refund your money without any fuss. Also, I should say that the payment is either through Stripe, which is a massive company where you can pay through with your credit card or card, which is the preferred payment for me, method for me, as the overheads are less, or PayPal, and they're both as secure as can be. Everybody knows. You may not have heard of Stripe, but you certainly heard of PayPal, and they both offer the same security. So there we go then. That's the presentation over with. Thank you very much for sitting through it. I think it's quite important because it outlines some of the bonuses which you are due to get. So you know that they actually are adding value to the course quite heavily. It shows you some of the 26 letters which I'm also throwing in, which would be a separate entity and obviously worth money. And you now know the price. So head off to the website you see there, bespoke-signs.com. Head for the Signpainters Academy payment section. Just go through the checkout as normal and make your payment. It's all set up, ready for you to go. You'll then receive emails with your link to the website, and you can start to navigate around there and see what's happening there. The website is nice and easy to use, and contains not everything at the moment because it's trickle fed weekly, so we're not getting overwhelmed. But yes, again, thank you very much for listening. As I've said, the offer of the 297 is open whilst we are enduring this COVID-19, which yes, hope everybody stays safe. Thanks again. Take care. Bye.